Now today, I'm going to be answering a question that is so, critical to the existence of the family life in Africa. But in this particular episode, I'm just going to be sharing with you time-tested, research-proven, result-oriented strategy to handling your mother-in-law. Hello family and friends, welcome to Heart Matters with Praise Fowowe. I'm so excited to be with you today, and I thank you for always staying tuned to my vlog every week. Now, I know that this is a bit applicable to South Americans. I know it's a bit applicable to the people in the Caribbean and what have you, maybe not necessarily to the people in Europe or to the people in North America, but this is for people of African descent. And it's the issue of mother-in-law, because everywhere I go, people ask me, Praise, I have a mother-in-law that is so terrible, I don't know how to handle her. And there are people in Africa who are actually praying not to marry a man with a mother-in-law. As a matter of fact, some will pray for their mother-in-law to die, forgetting that someday they're going to become mother-in-laws, because data has now shown that people usually complain about their mother-in-law, oftentimes become worse mother-in-laws when their own children get married. The first thing I want you to understand is you cannot handle your mother-in-law without understanding why she is acting the way she does. Now, unknown to many people, a lot of our mothers have had their identity and esteem tied to their son. Now, so imagine a woman who has an only son, or a woman who has a first child, a woman who had, delayed in childbearing, and eventually she's got a son. Now you'd realize that she's going to pour her entire emotion on that child. She's going to raise him, ensure that he gets the best. Then she becomes attached so hard that it becomes very difficult for her to understand that you do not pay rent for your child to become your retirement benefit. You pay rent to raise a child to become himself or herself and to set her free. The greatest problem we have is usually how to set a child free. Now, I have an entire body of knowledge on how to parent effectively. It's a program called Out of the Box Parenting, and I have the sequel to it, which is Out of the Box Parenting Challenge, which means you can transform your parenting life in 21 days. That's called Out of the Box Parenting Challenge. You can actually click on the link on this broadcast right now and take that course. It will transform your life. I have amazing testimonies about that. Now, so when someone doesn't have an identity, and an identity is wired around a child, you would realize that they will not know when to release that child, because parenting should actually be an 18-year curriculum. What happens from age 19 is your report card. Unfortunately, we wire our identity and our esteem to a child such that by the time the child gets married, it becomes very difficult for us to detach, and we go and create a crisis in his home. Now, a lot of us do not know, and a lot of our mother-in-laws don't know, that their own territory is their husband's house. Your son's territory is not your territory. It's a territory where he is a presiding president and his wife is actually his vice president. Now, you are permitted to come. You do not insist, because you do not have a residency permit in that place, unless what they have given you. So if they have given you their entry visa, then you can come, and you cannot dictate your own terms and rules and regulations. Yes, they are obliged to honoring a mother-in-law, but you cannot come to someone else's territory and dictate how to live, how to do things. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a mother-in-law who doesn't understand this boundary and territorial principles, you do not fight her. Now, people do the best they can with what they know. If she knew better, she will act better. And knowledge is limited. Her esteem is tied to her son, so she doesn't actually see what she's doing is wrong. She sees it as protecting the child. And always remember, as a wife, that the love that exists between the son and the mother is not something you want to break, because actually the son is supposed to have detached himself with wisdom, but where that is not done, you need to deploy strategy to win. The most important thing I've seen is where a woman now says to her husband, you need to choose between me and your mother. I think that's uncalled for, because I mean, how long have you known this guy? Maybe 5 years, 3 years? You know, it's not compared to the number of years his mother's known him. But there's a strategy you can deploy to win him of his mother, to win the mother of him, or you can actually win over the mother-in-law, which is the best place to be, because your strategy must be win-win on both sides. You don't want to separate the son from his mother. You don't want to create crisis within the family. What do you need to do? Now, the first thing before I go into the tips that can help you is that your mother-in-law is not a bad woman. If she was a bad woman, she won't have produced your husband. So she deserves appreciation for the fact that she raised a man that you consider enough fit to be your husband. Now, what do you need to begin to do? When I come back, I'll let the cat out of the bag. It's still your show, Heart Matters with Praise for Owe. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we're discussing on handling your mother-in-law effectively. Now, one of the things I needed to understand before I begin to show you the tips is usually mother-in-laws have who they prefer for their son to marry. So if you are the kind of lady who has found yourself in a relationship where you upset the calculation of the mother-in-law, you are in for a fight from day one. Now, so do not expect her to be nice. So what do you need to do? You need to prepare for a battle. But for every battle, there's a strategy to win in the battle, provided you understand the strategy. So I have created an acronym called PRAISE, P-R-A-I-S-E. Interesting thing is that's my name, which can help you. This was an acronym that everyone who has had to deal with a tough boss, I created it many years ago for people dealing with a tough and a wicked boss, in quotes, in the workplace. Then I realized that the moment we started applying it to mother-in-laws, it worked like magic, and I believe this can work for you. Now, P stands for praise your mother-in-law. Even when you think she's not done anything worthy, you must learn to praise her. I mean, if there is anything, you must praise her for the fact that she raised you a husband. It's worthy of praise, because if you focus on what she's doing, a bad behavior, if you focus on the fact that she's hurting you, you are not going to see anything good. But I say to people that for every negative experience, there's a corresponding positive narrative or corresponding positive interpretation, or there's a corresponding positive experience that exists that many of us may never see. All things work together for good because we love God and are called according to His purpose. So you must learn to praise her. Find something praiseworthy. There's always something. I mean, no matter how bad the person is, there's always something that the person does well. So praise her. R, readily respond respectfully to our intention. Now, a whole lot of us, because of the bad experience we've had with a mother-in-law, we do not feel obliged to do anything for them. But you see, you need to act contrary, because the fact that she's emitting negative energy doesn't mean you meet it with a negative energy. You need to respond with a positive energy. So you need to understand that when you meet our negative energy with your positive energy, there is no way evil will not bow to good eventually. So you need to readily respond respectfully to our intention. How do you know her intention? You need to observe what she appreciates. You need to observe what she wants to do, or find a way to get information about what she wants to do. Especially when a child or son begins to talk about her, the tendency for many of us to is to have a negative body language, negative body image, and we begin to feel, oh no, don't talk to me about your mother, go and deal with it. No, you need to have a positive. As a matter of fact, you need to adopt her as your mother, because in the triangle of life that I take, the result is what you need to ask yourself. What result do you want? Now, to get that result, what behavior must you put up with to deliver the result, and what must you believe? So if your belief about your mother-in-law is that she's a wicked woman, now your body language will respond in that manner, and your behavior will produce a result where the two of you will be fighting. But the result you want, which we say begin with the hand in mind, is I want to win this woman over. Then what must I believe about her? The narrative should be, my mother-in-law is a good woman who is presently troubled, on her way to accepting me as a daughter because I'm going to win with her. If that is your narrative, then it changes the dynamic. So what you need to do is to look for the result you want. What's the result? What must I believe? It must be positive or it must be balanced. Then what behavior must I put up to generate that result? So readily respond respectfully to our intention. The next one is A. Acknowledge our input and impact even when there is none. Use every opportunity to attribute to her even what she has not done. So for example, when our wife, you're shining or something, when people acknowledge, I say, help me appreciate my mother-in-law because I'm teaching you rules of engagement in Africa, which may not be applicable outside of Africa. Oh, help me thank my mother-in-law for what she's doing for me. She's made our life easy. She's been nice. She's taken me as a daughter. So you need to acknowledge her inputs and impact, including when you think there is none. I find a way to interview her. People usually, especially because a lot of people have low self-esteem in this part of the world, when they think that they have become your leader or they become your mentor, they seem to lower their guards. So if you meet your mother-in-law, for example, say, Mama, please, I was just wondering, that's your special soup that my husband talks about. Please, can you teach me? Mama, I don't want it for free. I want to pay for it. Now let her decide whether she's going to teach you for free or something else, And as she begins to teach you, you need to praise her before everyone, go online, celebrate her, tell her to her face, Mama, you are the best mentor anyone can long for. Interview her. Ask her how she built a home. Ask her how she raised a son. Ask her for advice on what she feels you should do better to become a better wife and a better daughter-in-law. Now, be indispensable to her and always interpret whatever she's doing in a positive light. Now, S is serve a problem with speed and smile. Solve a problem with speed and smile. You must always wear smiles to your face at all times, and you can solve a problem with speed and smile. And E, exceed her expectation. She expects you to fight her back. Don't do that. She expects you to insult her because she consistently insults you. You do not have a say over what people do to you. What you have control over is your interpretation and your response. Now, if evil is not in you, you cannot give evil back. If hurting and hatred is not in you, you cannot give the hate energy to other people. It's what in you that comes out when pressure is exerted. So exceed her expectation, wow her in the way that after a while, because if you keep to this consistently, you will win her over. I always tell people that, whatever has an expiry date can be endured. The number of years your mother-in-law has to spend, is not so much compared to the number of years you still have to spend with your husband and you have to live on the planet because you are younger than her. So you can always, create a narrative in your mind for her, wherein you don't see what she's doing as act of wickedness. All she's doing is to try to protect our son. Now she may do it in the wrong way, but if you deploy the acronym PRAISE, you need to do it consistently, because it may not work at first point of call, because she's not sure whether you're pretending or you want something. But what you need to do is to stay with it. We call it stick-itiveness. You need to stay there, do it, and trust me, who you are becoming while you deploy this is superior to even the result you want to generate. Imagine you as a calm person. Imagine you as a happy person. Imagine you suddenly as an excited person where you have nothing to complain about, because what you have done is to hone your narrative, hone your essence, hone your peace, hone your wellness, where you have created a heaven within you such that the hell without loses its power over you. So P, praise her. R, readily respond respectfully to our intention. A, acknowledge our input and impact even when there is none. I, interview, be indispensable to her and interpret her intention. S, solve a problem with speed and smile. And E, exceed our expectation. I hope this helps you. Go ahead, subscribe, tell your friends about this. Till I come your way again next time, I'm going to be teaching something, that also can help your relationship blossom. It's Heart Matters with Praise. I super honor you. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.